As they say, now we face the final curtain. It's time for our last race of the 2021 BNL Karting Series season. And closing out the show, as always, DD2 and DD2 Masters. Let's have a look at the final grid of the 2021 campaign. Mick Knowlton, after what we saw in the pre-final earlier on, starts from pole position and has Francis-Kilian Guérin alongside. Ragnar Virus, who has taken a victory this weekend as well, starts on the inside of row 2 ahead of Patrick Snols-Lochmelis. Jan Negusens in 5th will have Carl Clebot de Bakker alongside on row 3. Rudy Champion and Bruno dos Santos complete the top 4 rows. Champion and Clebot, the gap is close between them coming into this final race of the season. Both of them want to stamp their claim on the title this year. Yodi Collin and Devin Sagadi complete the top 10, and rounding out the 17 strong are the following drivers: Maxime Diris, Christophe Adams, Tom Dessert, Jonathan Wimore, Dimitri Ostrovsky, Maxime Shaposhnikov and Glenn Van Parijs, and an absent Zona Shriblack is not on the grid. So 13 minutes on the clock plus an additional lap set on the timer for the final time, as Van Parijs now makes his way into turn number 2. The red light ignited on the starting gantry here at the home of champions Karting Genk. 13 minutes plus 1 additional lap will see us bring the curtain call down on our 2021 season. The season kicked off back on the 3rd of April 2021. 3 rounds split on just over 6 months has brought us down to this day. It's 205 days since the kickoff started things off back on the 20th of March this year. And now we come to the final hurrah. So we wait for all 17 drivers to get into formation. And now, out of the final corner, they split, they head into the tram lines. Right then, revs rise. Are we ready for the last time this season? We are lights out and racing. And Mick Knowlton and Ragnar Virus get ahead of Kilian Guérin in the initial foray going through the start phase. And with them is Patrick Snols-Lochmelis. Carl Clebot now up into 5th position ahead of Jan Negusens in the 490. Everyone pretty much making their way through. And Glenn Van Parijs has already made his way up 6 positions. He's now up into, I think, 11th place. So Glenn Van Parijs has been gunning for a 7th victory this weekend. He's got time. He's got 12.25 minutes plus an additional lap to do so, as Mick Knowlton leads them out of the final corner to complete lap number 1, leading Ragnar Virus, Kilian Guérin. And also Lochmelis from Latvia. Jan Negusens back past Clebot as Lochmelis up the inside of Guérin to take P3. And that now means there's plenty of changes. Yodi Collin has got past Rudy Champion. Christophe Adams now up into 10th. And that makes it P3 in DD2 Masters. Glenn Van Parijs is just behind the 555. So the 401 from Boobin Power now closing in on those in front. And there is Rudy Champion right ahead of Glenn Van Parijs. The sunshine has been absolutely spectacular this weekend, and it's provided us with some fantastic racing. And what a way to close out the season as Mick Knowlton leads ahead of Ragnar Virus. The gap now is 0.329. Lochmelis now trying to hang on for 3rd as Jan Negusens makes his presence felt on the back bumper of Kylian Gerhardt, figuratively, not literally speaking. As Bruno dos Santos is closing on Carl Clébaut. Looking at it from this perspective, oh, that's a dive and a half. Yanni Goossens absolutely did the best impersonation in karting of a Daniel Ricciardo. Lick the stamp and send it right up the inside of Kylian Gerhardt. Inspired young sir. Well done. That was brilliant. And now here is Glenn Van Parijs round the outside. Oh no! Rudy Champion's just tangled as Van Parijs was round the outside. Champion over the back bumper of Jordi Colin. Oh my goodness, the hits, they keep on coming. And Jordi Colin dejectively walks away from the 406. And that's not how you want the race weekend to end. And this has been a pivotal moment. Could this be that we have a new champion for 2021? Because what's just happened has sent Rudy Champion all the way to the back of the field, and there he is. This gives Carl Clébaut a big opportunity. I think it's going to be too close to call, because now, Kylian Gerhardt puts one boot on the other foot, so to speak, as he's just done a dive up the inside of Yanni Goossens through turn 2 after Goossens' emphatic hard-charging overtake going through turn 7. Could the feat be repeated? Well, if Yanni Goossens was a bit closer to Kylian Gerhardt, that might be the case. Eight minutes and 37 seconds still to go. And it is all change. Glenn Van Parijs' charge towards the front end of the field was rather curtailed abruptly through that incident that saw Rudy Champion mount the back bumper of Jordi Colin. And Van Parijs now drops down to 13th, but effectively he has got the title secured for a second successive season, wrapping up his third in BNL Karting Series history, the first one being Senior Rotax back in 2016. The year before that, we saw the likes of Rinus VK, I'm trying to get this bloody name right again. Rinus van Kamphout, there we go. Finally, I got it out after saying it earlier on. And Oliver Askew as well, who was the Indy Lights champion in 2019. Rinus was the runner-up that season. Rinus actually visited us at the final round 2 years ago. Was training with everyone, which was good to have him with us. Glenn Van Parijs back up into 11th position, but Mick Knowlton looking to make it a double here on finals day, the last finals day of the season. And Jonathan Wimore has now, that has changed a little bit here, because without drop scores, the best 10 out of 12 scores are taken from the respective competitors over the course of the season if they've completed all 3 rounds. So this is where it's going to get close. I think it's going to be single-digit points that decide it at the end of it all. But whatever's happened, it's been a fantastic year for those that have been able to complete the whole championship season. And just to think, 6 months, well over 6 months ago, 29 weeks or so. Yeah, 29 weeks and 2 days ago, I was at my home commentating on the BNL Karting Series for the kickoff. And now, just over 6 months later, I'm back here at the home of champions. And what a pleasure it's been. Fantastic weather, fantastic people to catch up with in person rather than having to WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger or phone calls or whatever. It's great to be back in the paddock here personally, and such a pleasure. And we've got 6 minutes plus a lap of the season to go. Mick Knowlton still leads the way. Ragnar Veres in second. Patrick Knowles, Lochmelis in third. Kilian Gerhard, Yannick Goossens ran at the top 5 as there goes Glenn Van Parijs up the inside of Christoph Adams. And that's 9th overall, but effectively 7th in DD2. 3/10 was the gap last time round as we completed lap number 8. We're on lap number 9. And Knowlton just calmly getting on with business, trying not to look behind him. And Devin Sagadi looks to have pulled the cart into the pit lane. And that is it for the Estonians' run this weekend, I'm afraid, on lap number 6. 8 minutes down, 5 to go. Van Parijs will now depose of Maxim Didix in the 499. Putting him 8th in the race, but that puts him P6 in DD2. And Rudy Champion has done his championship hopes all the favours in the world because he's got past Maxim Shaposhnikov and is about 1.7 seconds behind Dmitry Ostrovsky from Germany. It looks like the pendulum swung one way at the beginning of the race to one driver, and then it swung back the other in favour of the one that was leading the championship coming into this final round of the season. But the gap has stayed no higher than 5/10 of a second, with Mick Knowlton and Ragnar Veres still controlling proceedings. Patrick Stockmelis still in 3rd place. 4th is Kilian Gerhard. Yannick Goossens about 3 or so kart lengths behind in 5th. Bruno Dos Santos leading Carl Clevort across the line last time round on the completion of lap 10 by about nearly half a second. So once again, we come across the line, lap number 12 underway. And the gap now extends between Knowlton and Veres to the tune of 4.5 of a second. Lochmelis a further 5.6 of a second adrift in P3. With 2 minutes and 30 to go. Knowlton waited a lengthy time for a victory. And if things stay as they are for the next 2 minutes and 20 seconds plus an additional lap, he'll close out his season in the best way possible and secure the runner-up status in the championship this year. Across the line, and the top 3 now covered by 1 second. Gerhard 1.7 seconds adrift, but looks like Yannick Goossens is closing in on the French driver in the 425, running with RM Concept, run by Morgan Riche. This is an enthralling little battle that could be all the way down to the checkered flag, the last one of the season. Quite interesting from the commentary position. To my immediate right, I can see the rumble strips coming out of turn number 9, and some of the drivers, I can hear the tyres sort of going, you know, which is quite an interesting sound to hear. It's like they get that sort of vibration through that side of the steering and also on the back axle. But we're into the last 60 seconds, and Knowlton has started pulling away. A little bit more daylight at the end of the tunnel for the Dutchman. Vice champion in the Rotax Max Euro Trophy back in 2018. Opens up the, changes the angle of the air flap on the radiator. There's a gap between him and Ragnar Virus, 6.5 tenths. So the penultimate lap of the season for 2021 is finally underway. And Mick Knowlton heads through into turn 5 for what is the penultimate time as the timer strikes 0. That is it. One more lap remains to close out the season as the wind has started picking up a little bit off of the Europolan there. We've had fantastic sunshine, we've had fantastic racing action all the way through. And qualifying got underway yesterday morning. And the last lap board is being prepared for the 20th and final time. The last time this season. And Mick Knowlton will see it first. And his gap now extends to nearly 7.5 tenths of a second. Glenn Van Parijs now is about a tenth and a bit behind Carl Clébour. So Van Parijs has got himself up into what will be effectively 6th in the race in DD2. The leaders make their way through turn number 7 for the final time off of the Europolan. As Kylian Gerhardt and Jan Negusson still battling way over 4th position. This could go down to the wire. But in the meantime, out of turn 11 for the final time comes Mick Knowlton. And the checkered flag waves for the 20th and final time. Mick Knowlton does the double on the final day of the season. Ragnar Virus in 2nd, Lokmelis in 3rd, Gerhardt. And there it is, Glenn Van Parijs crosses the line in 7th position, 6th, and that puts him on the title side of things. I'm not too sure it's close for DD2 Masters, but I might make an educated guess that it's going to be a handful of points between Rudy Champion and Carl Clébour, and I think it might have gone to the 544 from France. But let's have a look at the results for the final race of this season. Mick Knowlton does the double on finals day, the last one of the season, by 0.66 ahead of Ragnar Virus from Estonia. Patrick Snolls Lokmelis in 3rd. Kylian Gerhardt, Jan Negusson, Bruno Dos Santos wins DD2 Masters final race of the season. Glenn Van Parijs is the champion in DD2 for this year ahead of Maxime de Riche, Christophe Adams, Tom Dessert. Rudy Champion finishes 12th, and I think provisionally that gives him the DD2 Masters title for a 2nd year in succession, ahead of Jonathan Wimore, Dimitri Ostrovsky, with Maxim Shaposhnikov rounding out the 15 strong that finished the race. Devin Segardi unfortunately retired on lap 6, and Yori Kolan on lap number 2.